Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's Atta Webinar with Intimate Places. I'm Sally, and I would like to just give you a couple of reminders before we get going. So, as usual, there is a Q&A box which should appear on your screen if you wiggle your mouse around. And if you have any questions, you can type those into the box, either during the webinar or afterwards. I will then field those to the presenter, which is Marc, at the end, and then he can answer those for you. A recording of the webinar will also be sent out to everyone who's registered. So if you've missed the beginning or if you come up with any other questions later, you can watch back and then send those into Marc, because I'll include his email address on that. So as I said, I'm joined today by Marc Lawson, who is the founder, director, and owner of Intimate Places. Marc has spent his entire career in the hotel industry in different parts of the world. He settled in Arusha and invested in luxury mobile camps for private and exclusive use because, based on experience, Marc believes that there's simply no better way to experience the wildlife and nature to be found in East Africa. Marc's now going to speak to us about Intimate Camps, your private home away from home in Tanzania. So Marc, over to you.
Thank you very much, Sally. Great introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marc Lawson, and I'm the Managing Director of Intimate Places, which in turn owns and manages Intimate Camps, about which I will be talking to you today. Before I begin, I would like to take a moment to thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to learn a little bit more about Intimate Camps. I understand that some of you are from such faraway places as the United States, and that you will have woken up extra early this morning in order to participate in today's webinar, for which I would also like to thank you. Intimate Camps is unlike most other tented camps on Tanzania's Northern Safari circuit. And I hope that over the course of the next 20 minutes or so, I will be able to explain to you why this is the case. I will then make some time available at the end of the presentation in order to answer any questions you may have for me. Before I continue, it may be useful for me to tell you something about our organization. Intimate Places is a hotel management company. I'm a career hotelier, as Sally said, which has been operating on the Northern Safari circuit of Tanzania since 2004. The company celebrated 15 years of operations on the 1st of April of this year. As the name implies, we specialize in small, intimate places as opposed to large hotel properties. The owners of Intimate Places have been involved in tourism to East Africa for over 30 years. In that time, we have acquired a great deal of knowledge about the region to the benefit of our partners, as well as the guests who stay with us. We, in turn, are ably assisted by a team of Tanzanian professionals, the majority of whom have built careers with the company over a period of many years. Turning now to Intimate Camps. These are short-stay luxury mobile camps, which are only ever sold for the private and exclusive use of your clients. I emphasize the words short stay because the term mobile camps has been misused by the industry over the years to also describe camps which stay in one location for many months at a time. Those camps would probably be better described as seasonal or perhaps even semi-permanent camps as opposed to mobiles. Intimate camps are never shared with anyone else, and this enables us, with each and every booking, to concentrate all of our efforts on the needs and wants of the guests who book them. The actual location of your camp is decided by you and your clients, as opposed to by us. And this can be anywhere on the Northern Safari circuit, to include all of the national parks, as well as such out-of-the-way places as the Lakes of Natron and Eyasi and West Kilimanjaro. Historically, the most popular location for a camp is dictated by the movement of the Great Wildebeest Migration. And here again, intimate camps provides an advantage over most other types of camp in that we are able to make last-minute changes to where your camp is set up so as to ensure that it is located where the migrating animals actually are, as opposed to where they are supposed to be. Every camp is staffed by a dedicated crew of private butlers, private chefs, and private tent attendants, and consists of a number of accommodation tents, the precise number being dictated by the size of the group to be accommodated, and a day tent, which is where the guests are able to relax as a group when they are not out on game drives, exploring the wildlife and incredible nature to be found in Tanzania. The accommodation tents, each of which measures 28 square meters, or approximately 280 square feet, consists of a veranda, bedroom area, dressing area, and ensuite shower and toilet. Showers, as you would expect, are safari or bucket showers, and toilets are normal ceramic flush toilets. The day tent, which is sized according to the number of guests to be accommodated, consists of a dining and lounge area and is nearby the all-important campfire where evenings are spent exchanging stories about the current day's events and making plans for the days ahead. Every camp also has a back of house area, which is hidden from view from the main camp, and where the kitchen, staff and driver guide accommodation tents are set up. All camp vehicles, including guest vehicles, are also parked here when not in use. Because intimate camps are private, they can be tailored to meet the individual requirements of the guests who book them. Each and every camp goes through a planning process during which different aspects of your camp are discussed and agreed with you in advance. The most important of these are as follows. The configuration of accommodation tents. For single tents, we normally provide a double bed, since a single bed on its own would look lost in the space provided. Double tents can be furnished with either one double or two single beds, and triple tents can be set up with one double plus one single bed, or with 3 single beds as preferred. Intimate camps also has family tents, which are ideal for use for families with young children. Family tents consist of a small lounge and 2 accommodation tents, each with its own sleeping area, dressing area, shower, and toilet. Menus. Because each camp is a tailor-made experience, menus are decided in advance with you so that our award-winning chefs can prepare some or all of your clients' favorite dishes. We have over 20 different menus for you to choose from, and for those of your clients for whom food is particularly important, a selection of over 80 dishes from which they are able to create their own menus. Funnily enough, this really does happen. Drinks. Each camp is stocked with an extensive selection of international spirits, wines, beers, and minerals, the costs of which is included as part of your client's stay. In the event that they would like to pre-order any premium wines and spirits, for example, French champagne, to be available in their camp, they may do so during the planning stage. These premium beverages are subject to an upcharge, and the drinks ordered will be placed in the camp's open bar prior to your client's arrival in camp. Spacing between tents. Our standard operating procedures require that immediately upon arriving at a campsite, our crew carry out a survey of all of the different views available and then locate tents accordingly. It may, however, be that your clients would prefer some of their tents to be closer to each other, as in the case of parents and their children, or further apart from each other, as in the case of an unpopular mother-in-law. Once again, preferences should be made known to us at the time of planning your camp. Additional security. The experience is that camping is a perfectly safe way to enjoy the national parks of Tanzania. If, however, you feel that you would like for us to arrange additional security for your camp, then this can be arranged with the local authorities. Please be aware that there is likely to be an upcharge for any additional security organized. Camp names. Because intimate camps are for private and exclusive use only, guests can choose to give names to their camps. Our camps can also be white labeled by the organizations which book them. Please do not hesitate to contact me for more information on the possibilities which exist in this regard. Depending on where you choose to locate your camp and the itinerary which you design for your clients, you may elect to book your intimate camp on a game package basis, where our vehicles and guides are used for airstrip transfers and game drives. Since our camps offer private use only, so too are our vehicles. We also have some of the best guides in Tanzania on our books, and the quality of your client's experience is therefore assured. Subject to availability, we will always deploy open game viewing vehicles in the Serengeti National Park, since we do believe that these provide the better experience. This is, however, something which can be discussed and agreed during the planning stage of your camp. The activities which will be available for your clients to enjoy whilst with us will be dictated to a large degree by the location you choose for your camp. However, these can range from game drives to view the great wildebeest migration, as well as other wildlife and bird life, game walks, nature walks, and walks with ancient tribes such as the Maasai and the Hadzabe people, off-road game driving, as well as night game drives, hiking on the slopes of Mounts Kilimanjaro, Meru, or Oldonyo Lingai, and early morning game viewing from the skies in a hot air balloon. Every intimate camp is geared up to be able to provide full service bush breakfasts, lunches, and evening sundowners, including on the crater floor. Our experience is that there is something magical about rounding a corner on a track and finding a sumptuous meal spread out waiting for you, particularly when the meal has been arranged as a surprise. Finally, this webinar would not be complete without mentioning intimate camps practices towards the environments in which we operate. It is important to understand that intimate camps are always set up on pristine sites, normally belonging to the Tanzania National Parks or the Ngorongoro Conservation Area. The camps themselves are set up for relatively short periods of time, normally no more than a week. And when they are taken away at the end of your client's stay, they leave behind the same pristine conditions which they found upon arrival. We literally take everything away with us, including rubbish, which is returned to Arusha for proper disposal at municipal waste sites. In addition to this, all power in camp is generated through a network of solar panels, which generate sufficient electricity for lighting, as well as to charge personal electronic equipment, even in each guest's own accommodation tent. CPAP machines may also be used, although we do ask for details of these at the time of planning your camp. Hot water is produced in highly efficient boilers, which have been especially manufactured for intimate camps, and the wood used to fire them is transported all the way from Arusha for this purpose. As you can see, therefore, every possible measure is taken to ensure that we have as little impact as possible on the environments in which we operate. And we know that this is something which is greatly appreciated by the majority of the guests who stay with us. In conclusion, therefore, private luxury mobile camping in its purest form is widely regarded as providing the most authentic of safari experiences. It enables you to blend in with and become part of the environment you wish to experience. And once you depart, there is little, if any, evidence of your visit, aside from your cherished memories and the pictures which you take away with you to enjoy for many years to come. If you would like to receive a copy of my crib sheet on this presentation, yes, I do have one, then please let me know and I will be delighted to share it with you. I can also send you a copy of a PDF document which contains links to high-resolution images, fact sheets, menus, drinks lists, as well as other useful information. I would now like to turn the floor over to Sally and to yourselves so that you can have an opportunity to ask me any questions on our intimate camps. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Marc. That was a very detailed webinar, and I've definitely learned a lot. I'm sure everybody else has, but if anyone does have any questions, as I said at the beginning, if you can type them into the Q&A box, I will field those to Marc now. Okay, so we've got a question from Lucy. Thanks for the presentation. I note that the vehicle is one of those pop-up roof ones. Do you or can you use open-sided vehicles?
Thank you very much for your question, Lucy. As a rule, in the Serengeti National Park, we always use open-sided vehicles. The rule to be followed and to be respected is the fact that in the Ngorongoro crater, you are not allowed to use anything other than closed vehicles with pop-up roofs. But that is a rule that is specific to the NCAA. Tarangire, Manyara, Serengeti, we do prefer to use open vehicles.
Thanks, Marc. Next question is from Michelle. What is the maximum number of people that can be accommodated?
Hi, Michelle. The maximum number of people that we will do in a camp is 30 people. However, the average tends to be anywhere between 6 to 8 to 12 people. But we can do 30 if we're asked to.
Thanks, Marc. So next question is from Liesel. You mentioned any config. What is your peak season per person rates for us to calculate the optimal minimum number of people?
Right, we have the same rates throughout the year. We don't have seasons per se, and the reason for that is because intimate camps is quite an expensive operation to run, and the costs are moving camps around, setting up camps, etc. I'm not sure, I don't have the rates in front of me, so I can't give you a specific answer as to rates. I would be happy to share rates with you. But they do fluctuate in terms, they do fluctuate according to locations. Obviously, the further you are away from Arusha, the more expensive it becomes. And they fluctuate depending on the number of bed nights that you book. So if you were to book 2 nights for 2 people in the Serengeti, it would be twice as expensive as if you booked the same camp in the same location for, say, 8 people for 4 nights. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, we've got a question from Bill who says, can you do multi-locations? So with moving each night to a different location?
We can. It takes 2 nights and 3 days to physically move a camp from, say, Tarangire to Serengeti. So where you want to do multi-locations, we actually have to use more than one camp. So we would set up one camp in one location, a second camp in the second location, and your clients could literally move from one camp to the other. And we can do a third location and a fourth location, if that's what you would like us to do.
Thanks, Marc. Next question is from Angelo. Can we book directly? If so, do you provide services as accommodation in Arusha, so domestic flights, etc.? And right. Accommodation, sorry.
Right. We are not a DMC. So we are not in the business of booking safaris, which include, I don't know, Sopa lodges, Serena lodges, etc., etc., etc. Where an itinerary is put to us, which is heavily biased in favor of either intimate camps or Camp Zebra, which is our other product, then yes, we can assist. And we do assist.
Okay, next question from Liesl again. Do you take children of all ages?
The only rule that the answer, Liesl, is yes. You know, these are private camps, so it's a little bit, as the title of the webinar said, it's a little bit of a home from home. The only rule that we do apply is that children under the age of 12 years must share a tent with a responsible adult. But if you want to bring 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, absolutely no problem.
Next question is from Sid. Have you come across operators who are trying to stop the mad rush of vehicles driving at high speed to get to the crossings, which she felt is a slightly negative experience? Or what are you doing to engage operators to stop the mad rush?
To be honest, Sid, I hate it as much as you do. I think that watching river crossings is one of the truly extraordinary wildlife experiences. There are many crossing points, and what I do personally is if I see one crossing point with too many vehicles, I go to the next one and the next one. As an individual company, it's very difficult for us to influence the policy of a large organization like TANAPA. But I know, because we are members of the Hotel Association of Tanzania, and we are also members of the Tour Operators Association, TARTO. And I know that there are representations which are being made to reduce numbers, but I'm not able to tell you what degree of success we will have in achieving our goals. I think that's the most honest answer I can give you.
Thanks, Marc. Next question is from Dex. What's the average lead time to make a booking?
Normally camps are booked sort of 3 to 6 months out. We can organize a camp if you give us 2 weeks notice, provided of course that we have a camp that's available. So if you came to us now and you said, oh, I've got clients at the end of November who need a camp, probably we've got a camp available, and probably we will be able to provide it for you.
Thanks, Marc. Next question is also from Marc. How do you dispose of the waste from the Loos?
Hi, Marc. That's actually an excellent question. Our normal setup is for ceramic toilets. And the reason for that is because toilets are something that a lot of people are quite sensitive about. With ceramic toilets, what we do is we use a French drain system. So we literally put a waste pipe 6 inches under the ground, and we use that for waste. We also, where people, and there are companies that are quite passionate about this, we do offer a second alternative, which is part of the planning for a camp. I didn't mention it in the webinar presentation because toilets are not a particularly glamorous thing to talk about. But we do offer what we call an echo flush toilet as an alternative. An echo flush toilet is very similar to a chemical toilet. And what we do is every morning we empty it into a pit, and we fill up the pit. That is the more environmentally friendly way to go. But as I said, people can be a bit sensitive about it, and a lot of people will say, no, I'd rather have the flush toilet. Thank you very much. Did I answer that question?
I hope so. We'll see if something pops up. At the moment, there seems to be no more questions, so I'll just wait a moment to see if we have anything else. But if not, you can feel free to email Marc after the webinar if something pops up.
Yeah, please do feel free to contact me if there's anything else that you'd like to know. And as I said, I'm more than happy to share my notes from the webinar presentation and to share a PDF document which will give you access to all our menus, dishes, images, public liability insurance, etc., etc., etc.
We've just got a few thank yous coming through, but no more questions. So thanks very much, Marc. Thank you everyone for listening, and we hope to see you all again next time.
Okay, and thank you, Sally, for helping to arrange the webinar, and thank you very much, everybody, for listening.